Hi, everybody. Big guy here. Well, thank you for your comments, and I really do appreciate it. I really can't tell you how much I enjoy reading the comments. I have a lot of questions, and I want to give some shout outs here. A lot of things happened in the past week. I want to go out on the limb here. What they're doing to the Afghan people is the same thing they're going to do to the Vietnamese people. We're going to leave, and the Taliban's going to come in and kill everybody who helped the Americans. It's sad, but they just don't know what they're doing with this stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get into the politics of it, okay? I want to say hey to Ryan. Ryan commented about the NVA weapons and guerrilla warfare. Yeah, they were very creative in how they could set up a mine, set up a roadside bomb. They used to bury any kind of artillery shells they could find. They used to bury them on the side of the road in the gravel, standing on their end. So when the bigger pieces of equipment, the tanks, the road graders, the bulldozers came down the highway, they were too wide to fit in the one side of the lane. So the right side was riding on the stones on the shoulder of the road. That was easy for them to plant the bomb there. And that's how we lost a lot of vehicles. The bigger vehicles took a lot of damage. The guys usually just got shook up and hurt a little bit. Usually their ears rang for about 3 months. But yeah, that's what they used to do. So very creative about how they got the attacks going on. And you had to be careful there. There was nobody that really was your friend. Dark Forces and Joseph, your comments about the drugs in there in the 60s, 70s, and 80s was right on. I don't know if it's a big problem right now, but there was just a lot of drugs there. There was cocaine, bad stuff, a lot of marijuana, and a lot of potheads were there. Guys were stoned all day long, and all night they'd sit out there and look at the stores, rubbing their mustache. It was sad. Fred, 82nd Airborne. I don't know. 101st Airborne was right there with you, buddy. But good job for you. Thank you for your service. 82nd Airborne has my due respects. But the 101st was right there with you, the cavalry. David, the draft is a terrible thing. Was evil. I agree. Didn't really want to go. Felt that I had to go. My dad was a veteran. My uncles were veterans. I lost one of my uncles in World War II, one of my father's brothers, and so felt kind of obligated to go because they went when they were drafted. So that's the way that went. Jerry was lucky enough to get into college. Some of us couldn't get in. Our grades weren't good enough to get into college. They were only taking the best students and somebody with connections. So, Jerry, good for you. I know when I got out, I was lucky. I got my first job. They were hiring the veterans, especially the Vietnam veterans in the early 70s. So I got hired right away by a good company and spent a lot of years there working my way through the ranks. Ron, quite a story there, buddy. You got enlisted when you were 17 in 63, and you missed all the excitement. Let me put it that way. But let's talk about a minute being in the service. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, and there were twins. It was a set of twins. I think their name was Miller. I really don't remember for sure, but they were from Missouri, and they had signed up for 4 years. The recruiter promised them that they would always be together because it was some kind of a thing about twins. You can't separate them. They're like connected spiritually. So they have to stay together. They couldn't put them in harm's way because they had to stay together. So they signed up for 4 years of schools and different things like that. They wanted to be mechanics. That's what they were. They were sent there through the school, and they came to Fort Benning to work with us in the motor pool. And we were working on the dump trucks and the other equipment, the wheeled vehicles. Okay, grease monkeys we were. So and then talking to them, why did you enlist? What is going on? Why did you enlist? Were you afraid you were going to get drafted? You wouldn't have a say where you were going to go? And their answer to me kind of surprised me. They said, "We're from Missouri." I said, so you're from Missouri? He says, yeah. He says, there's nothing going on there. He said, we grew up in a little town. Our dad was a poor farmer, wasn't going to be able to support us. So we decided to go somewhere where we could get the training. And who knows, we might not ever go back to Missouri. Depends where we wind up. Georgia seems pretty nice. Maybe, we're going to start a garage when we get out of the service. The two of them are going to save their money and they were going to buy a gas station or open a garage or car repair shop. So that was their plan. But when you go back and you think about it, what they were telling me is they were in a dead end town, no chance of going anywhere. They didn't have any money to go anywhere. They had no money to go to college. Their parents couldn't afford to send them to a trade school or anything like that. So when you enlist, you got training, a place to live, and you got paid. So it wasn't a bad deal compared to what they had facing them. And there was a lot of other guys there that came from inner cities. They came from all different walks of life. They didn't have things going on with them at home. They just wanted to get out of the house. They wanted to do something different. And so that's how they wound up enlisting, signing up for a school to learn a skill. I knew a few guys that were my age at the time. They were all kids. They signed up for the Air Force, and they were doing maintenance on the transportation, the C-130s and stuff like that, because they felt when they got out, they could go work at an airport in their hometown. Wasn't a bad deal. Somebody's got to change the tires, somebody's got to repair the engines, somebody's got to do the electronics. So that was their plan. Enlist, get out of town. They pay for your transportation. They give you a place to live. They give you meals. They give you money, and they train you for a job. But you do have to go for 3 or 4, I think 6 years was the most. Now, I was only in for 2. When I was leaving Vietnam, they offered us a $2,500 signing bonus, but you had to re-enlist for another 4 years. Okay, if you wanted to stay in, they had promised me they were going to make me a sergeant, which I was pretty much doing the sergeant's job at the time. But if you stay in, we'll give you $2,500 bonus, and that was a lot of money back in 1970. And you get to pick a fort where you want to go, where you want to spend your next tour of duty. You can go to Europe, you can go to Korea, you can go all these other places, exotic. Some of the duty was pretty good from what I understand. So that's one of the things that I learned early on, that there were guys that were enlisting just because they had nothing better going on anywhere. It was kind of sad in a way, but you knew why they did it, because they were trying to do something with their life that was different. So I guess if you look at it that way, military's not really bad if you enlist. But I got to go back with what David said about the draft. Not the right way to go. There were guys in there that had no skills. They were just afraid every day. They couldn't cope with it. A couple of them just freaked out. One last story. I don't mean to go on and on, but two things really. One of the guys got a Dear John letter from home. His wife was leaving him. She met somebody else. He was in for 18 months, I guess. We were in. He did the same thing I did. He spent a year in a fort somewhere in the States. Then he was in Vietnam for about 6 months, and he got the letter that she fell in love with somebody else. Well, he took his M16 and he shot holes in the metal ceiling in the barracks. Okay, which you can't do that. So they took everybody's M16 away. A few of us were allowed to keep our 45s and a pocket full of ammo, a clip, and they gave you a box of 45 shells to carry. You could keep that in your locker as long as it was locked up. Some of us used to carry it in our pocket. When we went downtown, we went to Saigon, we left the post. We always had the 45 with us, and that's why they let us keep it, because we were in the motor pool. We would go out, we would tow vehicles back, we would go out to job sites and work on vehicles. So we pretty much were armed the whole time. Did want to update you. I'm still working on getting Steven. Steven is a much younger guy than me. He was a drone pilot in Afghanistan. and he has some very interesting stories. From what I understand, he is trying to get some time. I got to get the other studio because I can't do a telephone interview here in my garage. I just don't have the equipment, not right now anyway. I'm hoping to upgrade someday. But I'm going to go over to Up Late over there, where the guy's name is Bad Weather. He's going to let me use his studio, and we'll try to get that telephone interview going on. I can't wait to talk to him and share the story with everybody. It's going to be great. Okay, went on too long. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for the comments. Keep giving me comments. I enjoy hearing about where you're going. I don't need a short book, just 2 or 3 sentences. I'd like to give you a shout out. Everybody else can read the comments below and see what's going on. Well, I'm still talking. All right, everybody. Be safe out there. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Hey, everybody. Almost forgot. Hit that subscribe button. We need more subscribers, and ring the bell so you get notified next time we put a video up. Thanks for watching Mike's Garage. We'll see you next time. Be safe.